Hi folks, I'm just having a cup of tea out of one of my printed mugs. I've got a few more to print out here. Let me tell you about how you can get some more customers. I've mentioned it before, but I'm going to run over it again. See you in a minute. Right, okay then. Well, I've touched on this before. I think it was in my previous video about how you can get more customers using YouTube, and it's quite prevalent, this, because one of the hardest things that you're going to come across once you've learned the learning curve of actually printing mugs, you've bought the equipment, you've done your tests, you've made a few mistakes, you've got up and running, you now want obviously customers. Now, two of the places to do that is Facebook and also YouTube, as I said before. The great thing about both of them places is they both have people that congregate together who are in the business of promoting something or other. In other words, whether it be a YouTube website or whether it be a Facebook group, anything like that. And normally, any successful group of any kind has normally had artwork done, and as a result of that, they would probably enjoy merchandise. Now, a typical example is my own channel. I've got my own artwork here, as you can probably see. I've actually printed this out on sublimation paper at the moment, and this is just a graphic that I created. All I basically did was I found a background. I use graphic stock as a medium to get myself images that I want to use in my creations, you could say. So I had the background, which is this stripy line. This text here, which you can see, is just one of the fonts that are on my or any PC or computer. Again, this little flag I got off of my graphic stock website. There's the YouTube logo, which I actually got off of Google Images. And that image there of me, I had someone to create from a real photograph. And if you actually buy my training DVD, I'll tell you places where you can get this sort of thing done really cheaply. So, and these top and bottom bars, again, I just found them in graphic stock. And all I've done was layer them together in Photoshop myself, because I can use Photoshop, and created my own graphic. This is from Mug Wrap. So one of the biggest learning curves you're going to have if you go down that route is creating your own graphics. But as I said to you, I can do that, but a lot of successful YouTubers and also people on Facebook groups or whatever, they already have their own graphics, and all you've got to do is to ask them if they would like any merchandise. And one of the ways of doing that is basically going to contact the group in Facebook, for example, or going in YouTube and clicking the About tab on someone's channel, and then you can normally get to their email for business inquiries, and there's a link there which you can click to send them a direct message. I mentioned this in my last mug tutorial video, but I actually got an email come through to me. Obviously don't think the person realised, asking me if I wanted some merchandise printing, and they could do a very good deal for me and whatever. So obviously they'd watched my video, and then they've actually imparted that and started to do that. And all I've done was sent them back a link saying, I think you might want to check out my video, and I sent them a link to the actual video where I'm telling people to do that. So it's good to see that people are taking what I say on board with regards to my YouTube videos, and no, it wouldn't surprise me if they've got some income as a result of that. The reason why I say that is that every now and again I actually promote my other channel, one of my other channels I've got, Retro Restore. I actually create merchandise for that, and obviously I create t-shirts, and I also create mugs, and I also wear the t-shirt sometimes in my Retro Restore videos, and I'll leave a link in the actual video description as well underneath the video where people can purchase. And cut a long story short, I know it works because I've actually had it myself, when I've done it myself, where people have actually bought the item, the t-shirt or the mug, or requested one as a result of watching the video and seeing that I actually do merchandise. Now, a typical example is what I'm going to be printing out a couple of mugs today, because I've had a fellow YouTuber who ordered 4 t-shirts from me, and as a result of that, I've done them and sent them off to him. And we've had another YouTuber on the back of that also see his video, because he actually was so pleased with the merchandise, he actually wore it in his own video, and as a result of that, someone else then come along and ordered it off of me. So all I'm saying is that if you provide merchandise and you promote yourself as a supplier of merchandise, let's say whether it be t-shirts or mugs, to other successful YouTubers, don't forget there's hundreds and thousands of YouTubers. So even if every one of you who are watching this video started taking on board what I'm saying here about getting customers, bearing in mind that you might be just beginning and you've got no customers, if you do this one step and take the time out to actually contact people on YouTube and also people in Facebook groups and just send them a little message saying, look, I can do you this one, and then if you like it, you can promote them on your channel. But the bottom line is, it's a way of getting customers at the very beginning when you have no customers and you're trying to get yourself out there. So these two mugs now, which I'm going to print, this is the artwork I created. People with successful channels do have their own artwork. All you've got to do is to import it into either Photoshop and size it. As our sizings for our mug wraps, I open up a box which is 210mm wide by 85mm deep, and that gives me a sheet of A4 paper which I can place 3 on, which will cover basically the mug. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do there. 2 of these, one's going here in the UK and the other one's going to Europe. So I'll be sending them out to the customers who have already paid for them, by the way. So let me get these printed and we'll have a look afterwards. I'm doing these on normal standard glossy mugs, although I do like the matte covered mugs, which I've showed you in a previous video. So let's carry on and do these. Right, so I've split these down into 3. This is my heat tape. Now again, I get so many questions on my YouTube channel where people are not watching the rest of the videos. I've got them all categorized. So if you're looking for t-shirt videos, they're in one playlist. If you're looking for mug printing videos, they're all in a different playlist. So you can actually click and watch a playlist and get all the free information which I provide in both of the playlists, all in order. So there's no worries about that. This is the basic heat tape I use. It's not anything special, because people say, what heat tape do you use? It's basic generic heat tape. I just get it off eBay, type in heat tape, and I find it. All the other materials I use is in my training DVD, as you probably know. And don't forget, treat this as a hobby. And again, it's a simple procedure. You've just got to learn it, as with everything. So I'm just going to center this image now, as I've shown you before. And as I say, I like to get the image right in the center, so that the mug handle is in the center. I'm dealing with straight lines around the top and the bottom of the paper, as you can see there. I've not cut them with scissors. I've got my grid on there where I'm cutting straight lines, and it makes lining up with the top of the mug a lot easier. I just get a piece of my heat tape, I put it on one side, I'll get the second bit, while I'm holding it tight, I'll just put it on the other side, and there we go. That mug is now ready to go. And right round the edge, as you can see, the paper matches all the way around. It overhangs the bottom there. I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to slide this in my machine now. And as you know, with my Mug Press Pro, which I got from Sablé Blanks, they got a little stop on it, and I just slide the mug in and then close the handle up, and we're then playing the waiting game. Now, the Mug Press Pro, as I've mentioned before, which I use, I got from Sablé Blanks. And there are a few other people doing a similar version of this out there, but one of the copy versions has got a thin plate there, as opposed to a big solid heat conductive plate there, what the mug press has got from Sablé Blanks. So I get a lot of people saying about what printers do I use and what inks do I use, and I've said many times that I use the Ricoh style printers, and I have done for years and years, and the simple reason being is that I've never ever had any problems with the Ricoh printers and the Sawgrass Sablé Jet Art inks at all. I must say, at all. Whereas when I started off, as I do mention in the DVD as well, I started off with Epson printers, and I had CISS systems with sublimation inking, and forever and ever they was blocking nozzles up, because don't forget, at the very beginning as well, you're not using the printer on a regular basis because you're only doing it as a project or a hobby, and you're doing maybe 1 or 2 mugs a week to start off with. And so as a result of that, the ink tends to dry up on the print heads, and sublimation ink is very expensive, and it also dries out in the print heads, and that can cause issues with banding lines and stuff like that, and you need to do multiple ink maintenance checks on an Epson printer. And one of the other big problems with an Epson printer is they waste so much ink in their maintenance cycles. Now, if you're using sublimation ink in an Epson printer and you're wasting so much of that precious ink, it's going to be costing you a hell of a lot of money. And as I say, I've had about 6 Epson printers, all different types, when I started off, and every single one of them gave me problems, even down to the extent where the maintenance cycles wouldn't clean the print heads, and I used to have to take the heads out of the actual printer, which is a really nuisance of a job, and inject a cleaning solution through the heads, and even that in some cases never worked. So as I say, it cost me a lot of money finding that out, because I used to go to forums and they used to say, oh yeah, you know, use this printer, I use this printer. A lot of these people don't give you any backup or guarantees with what they're saying is true. I'm telling you through my experience, and as a result of that, I'm hoping to save you the money in the long run. And all I can say to you is, I don't get sponsored or paid by Ricoh. These are what I've been using for years and years now, after making the mistakes a typical beginner would do by trying to find out the right information by going to forums. And basically I was led down a garden path by probably people who aren't really doing it successfully. And at the end of the day, I now know, after 12 years of being in this business, what works, and those are the savings that I'm hoping to pass on to you. Learning the equipment, learning how to work the power driver software, which is the software that you really need to use with the Sawgrass SublyJet R-Inks. You can get this power driver software for free to download from the Sawgrass website, and that basically changes the colour profiles to suit the sublimation ink for the Ricoh printer, and it's a free piece of software. I don't think it works with a Mac. I think there's another solution if you use a Mac as a computer or PC. You can't use the power driver software for that, but there is some sort of other colour profile changing software for Mac users. So I don't know about that. I've never used it, but I do know that that is out there somewhere. You might be able to find that out if you've contacted Sawgrass directly. They would probably be able to advise you better than me. I'm not an expert on their inks. Right, so as I say, finding customers. Once you've learned how to use the equipment, you've done your test, you've made a few mistakes, you've got the right ink, you've got the right mug press, you've got the right transfer papers. It is then a matter of finding your customers. You've had a practice with software like Photoshop, or you found the source of finding people to create graphics for you if someone's asking for it. You now need to drive customers to your offers. And as I said to you, you don't need to build a website and try and get that noticed. That's not a skill you need at this stage. All you need to be able to do is to have probably a PayPal account where you can accept a payment. You can then take orders and people can pay you directly for mugs. And that is one of the easiest ways to get started. Just contact these people, or even if you see that they've got a successful channel, do them one. Send them a mug out and they will probably give you a plug on their channel. Oh, the buzzer's just got off. Right, let's just have a look at this one. Again, this is my own personal mug. Pull it out there. Very, very hot at the moment. Right, there's my Retro Restore mug, which will be going out to a customer there. Let me do the other one. So, it isn't rocket science. There is a learning curve, as I've said to you many, many times. And some people, I get quite a few emails from people saying that they want something to do as probably starting off as a hobby, which they can sort of grow. And if you want to get rich quick doing mugs, you're not going to get rich quick doing mugs, so don't think that you are. As I said, we've got many dripping taps, and I wanted something at the very beginning when I started working from home where I could basically learn how to do something and then do it myself without having to contact anybody else or needing anybody else's input. And that's exactly what I did, and 12 years ago we're still doing them. So here we go, let me put that one in for you. Right, and that does its own thing. And as you can see, many different types of styles. Actually, this is for my own personal use. I got this one from Google Images, and this is the Top of the Pops mug, which is a UK program which isn't made anymore, but it's just something which I've got in my own personal collection of mugs. And that was their logo from the 80s, I think, or it might have been the early 90s, I'm not too sure. But yeah, making these mugs is a very simple procedure once you've learned it. You can get teething problems. I've had other people say to me, I've got spots coming out, but only on the blue side of the colour. And this was a recent question I had, where he's printed his mug out. Once he's actually printed the mug out, he's got little blue dots on it, and he's asking me what the problem is. Well, I don't personally know the problem to that. He contacted his supplier, where he brought the either ink from or the mugs, I think it was the ink or whatever, or his printer, and they told him, just dip the mug in water after you press it and that should solve the problem. I can't understand that, to be honest with you. I can't see how dipping a mug, if you've got a problem with one of the colours, he said all the other colours was fine, but only the blue ink was putting little dots on the page. Now, that to me is a printer problem. and I just advised him to do a maintenance check on his printer. He said he come back to me and said he contacted the company who supplied either the ink or the printers, and they said, when you've printed the mug, just dip it in water and it should cure that problem. I can't see how that can cure the problem. Just one colour, and for whatever reason, I don't think that's good. Anyway, that's another story. So yeah, I thought I'd just do this quick video for you. Use the medium out there, which is YouTube and also Facebook. I've mentioned it before, and as a result of that, you can contact people through their private messaging systems, and even if you see that they've got a banner or a logo on their either profile, there's ways to capture that using the print system button on your PC. You can actually grab their image, and then you can possibly do a test run for them and show them their mug. So yeah, plenty of ways to do that, but do check it out and do try. I know other people, as I say, I've been contacted by one person who's actively doing that, and I would assume that they've probably made a contact, especially if you're in a group of, if you've got a Facebook community or you've got a YouTube group of channels that you subscribe to, and if you're a commenter on plenty of channels, there's a very good chance that you know or you see regular other commenters and stuff like that on a successful channel, and you can leave a comment, as I say to you. And most channels that are successful have got followers, and as a result of that, they love merchandise. So just another way in, and hope you use it. I use it, and I know other people who have been watching my last mug tutorial video have used it. Hope that was of some use to you, and I'll see you again in the next video. And until then, bye for now.